I've done that. You have like some themed stand-up shows here in town, like do all Christmas jokes. So you're like, anyway, last Christmas I was at McDonald's and I went
Yeah.
through the drive-through
Just do
and
your
it
big,
had
yeah.
nothing to do with
Yeah.
Christmas.
I do love, because I do it too. I always love thing that comics do is if you got a seasonal joke, how to get it back around.
Mhm.
And like, because you can do it, like, I mean, it's in peak form when you got some great Christmas joke and you're like, Christmas season's coming. You have about probably November to February that you could say Christmas just happened or Christmas season's coming, where it's the joke that seems timely. And then those other months, you gotta, like, what's your favorite holiday? Mine, Christmas.
Yeah,
And then you gotta find a new way to
right.
do it. I love seeing that.
I
Where
worked
someone
with a
has to,
comic who I worked with during the summer, and every show he opened up with a joke about how hot it was. And then I worked with him several months later in the winter, and I was like, "I'm looking forward. How is he gonna went up?"
yeah.
He goes, "Man, it's cold out. Remember how hot it was in the summer? It
Yeah,
was so
yeah,
hot." I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah, shoehorn it
Did
in."
I tell the
The ponytail
yeah,
thing? Yeah, I love that.
I've told it on this.
I think so.
I don't know if on the podcast.
Yeah. I'll tell if
Yeah.
I've told it, I'm sorry. My favorite of that kind of moment was when I was first starting, I moved to Chicago first. And when I would come home, I would then I never did comedy before here, like I said, but then when I came back, I would be the guy that came back from Chicago. I'm doing comedy in Chicago. And so we'd go to the bar car, which was they had this open mic. And I'd always, every time I came back, I would go up and do those shows. So this one guy, sometimes and one time when I came back in between Chicago and New York, it might have been during that time, but I kind of just lived here for 4 months to save money to move to New York. And so I'm back here. We're doing the bar cart. This guy has a ponytail. We're open micers. So everybody only really has maybe 3 to 5 minutes of material. And so we're all doing our jokes. And he would just do jokes on ponytails. That's all he did. He had a ponytail. I don't remember the jokes, but it's like talking about having a ponytail, what it's like having a ponytail. Full 5 minutes of just ponytail material. So the next week he shows up, his ponytail's gone. He has no ponytail. He cut it off. And so we're like, what are you going to do? All you've ever done is ponytail stuff. And he was like offended that we asked. He goes, I have other stuff. And we go, okay. So they brought him up. He opens it. First joke he does is not about the ponytail. It's just about nothing. It bombs hard. And then he goes, so I used to have a ponytail. And then just does all his ponytail stuff. And his ponytail's gone. But that was his best stuff. So he's like, I can't belt,
I love that it was that quick. It was
Oh,
like,
dude.
ooh.
The first joke is about nothing. And
Yeah.
and he goes, all right, so I used to have a ponytail. And he just does his ponytail material, which it like doesn't work. The other one, did I ever talk about this? I don't remember the happy birthday to Rue. Like, did I ever say that story? It's probably offensive. I don't know. It's not my joke. But when I was in New York, this comic, he used to run. We would run at the Improv or Broadway Comedy Club. Now, Dustin Chafin, who's about to have has a Zoom has a Zoom special out that he's putting out actually now, because this is coming out next week, and I think it's coming pre-sales was just last Friday, and so it's coming out now. Zoom comedy with Dustin Chafin. Go to his yeah. So it's not that, but it's Twitter. And so I'll promote it too next week. But I started with him. Look, I'm the main first podcast right there. He's got a podcast. I'll leave you with this. And so Dustin is who I kind of started with. Dustin was a huge part of my comedy career and helped me do it. So he does. I don't know if any of this is it,
All right.
but we're trying to find it online if you're looking. But
Okay.
I'll promote it next week. But he's a comic that I started with, and he is putting out a Zoom. He's the Zoom comedy of 2020. It's a different way because it's the way we have to do it now. So anyway, so we'd run a show at midnight. It was this edgy, it was uncensored show, which I always had to do and I never needed to be censored. So this other guy would run a show uptown, and he would always just come and, like, if his show wasn't like doing good, he'd be like, "Hey," he'd like call me, and I was just running the show. I was helping Dustin run the show, and I remember he'd call me and be like, "Hey, can I bring? We have like only 3 people show up for the show tonight. I'm gonna bring them down to your show, and then can I get on stage?" So he'd like barter with me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple times you'd be like, "Okay," but we were like, Dustin's show was like, I mean, it was like a packed. It would be midnight, dude, and we would be sold out in this upstairs room that was probably my favorite room in New York. It was just this box, and it was just, I mean, when it was packed, dude, you would murder in there. It was so awesome, and we'd all just be there. These are the stuff that I miss about New York. Is just you'd be out there till 2 in the morning, and it's just doing these shows, just so much fun. A bunch of comics hanging out. Everybody kind of ends their night there after they do shows, and so he would always call me and be like, and we just started being sold out. He's like, "I got 2 people, and I'm gonna bring them down. Can I get up?" And you're like, "I don't." I'm like, "Dude, we're sold out. I don't need." But he's just trying to get stage time. And I remember he always have to ride the train down with these people. These are just audience members that he's like, "Just come ride with me. I'll take you to another show." And they're, it's almost like the quarter thing falling, where you're just kind of like, "All right, I guess I'm riding with this guy,"
Yeah.
and then you're just on the way down. So anyway, so he had this joke, and it's probably insulting. I don't, it's a very hacky joke. So, but he would say, if you went and had your birthday party at a Chinese restaurant, how would they, they sing it, "Happy birthday to Rue, happy birthday to Rue." Like that's the joke that they don't say. They say ours. And so he would start it. He'd be like, "All right, who's got a birthday in here?" One night we were not there's not that many people there. And he goes, "All right, who's got a birthday in here?" And no one raises their hand. He goes, "Nobody has a birthday in here. Nobody." And no one's raising their hand. And he goes, "You have a birthday?" He goes, "My birthday was 2 weeks ago." He goes, "What about you?" He's like, "My birthday's like 7 months from now." He's like, "Nobody has a," and I mean, it's almost, it's just like everybody's like looking like, "Just do the joke, man." Like, and he's like, "Nobody has." Some guy finally just goes, "I mean, my cousin's birthday's next week." He's like, "All right. All right. So if you took your cousin to have birthday at a Chinese restaurant, here's how they would sing it. Happy birthday to Rue. Happy birthday to Rue. Happy birthday, dear customer." And then everybody's like, "Okay." And then he's like, "All right, good night, everybody." And he leaves. And it's so, I remember thinking, why I don't want to ever do a joke where I have to have someone in the crowd go with it.
It sounds like he didn't even need that part of the
No,
joke.
he doesn't at all. "Hey, you ever been in a Chinese restaurant? And here's how they sing happy birthday
Yeah,
to you."
right. Yeah.
I mean, you could, anything, but he just does it. You're like, I mean, the joke's already just disgustingly hacky. Like
Yeah.
it's not a good joke,
Yeah.
but it's like the idea that he has to bring someone in on it. And then someone's finally like, I mean, dude, people could just tell, like, someone just say it's your birthday.
Yeah.
This guy's not leaving, and he's trying to leave.
Yeah.
There's speaking of Jay had a story. Angel Salazar. I can't remember. He was in Scarface. He's a comedian, and he would always do that where he'd have some girl about Angel Salazar, and he would have he would always talk to someone and be like, "Hey, big guy. Hey, big guy." He'd talk to, like, so he pointed to you. He's like, "Hey, big guy." You'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And so he does it, and he always goes, "Hey, big guy." And he goes, "Hey, big guy." And the guy's not saying anything. He goes, "Big guy." And the guy's like looking around. He goes, "Hey, big guy." He's like, "Oh, you mean me?" He goes, "Hey, big guy." And he's like, "I mean, I'm not that big of a guy." He was like my size. He's like, "I'm not that big of a guy. I thought you'd be, when you say big guy, it's usually someone bigger."
Yeah.
But Angel never talks to him. He just goes, "Hey, big guy." And he finally has to go, "Okay." He goes, "You got a girlfriend?" He's like, "I don't." He goes, I don't have a girlfriend right now." He goes, "You got a girlfriend?" He goes, I don't have a girlfriend, right?" He goes, "Hey, big guy, you got a girlfriend?" The guy's like, "I don't, I got a girlfriend." He goes, "Huh? And then he said something about your girlfriend. I'm sex with your girlfriend. The joke is like that.
Yeah.
It's just an insult. But he wouldn't let the guy to go, the guy's talking more than he is.
Yeah.
I'm not that big of a guy. Hey, big guy. Hey, big guy. He goes, I'm not that, you talking about me? Hey, big guy." It's a guy that's done this joke 10,000 times and is like a robot that just he just can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Everyone's big guy.
Everyone's big guy. Hey, big guy. Hey, big guy. And it's like, it's like, shut him off, man. The other one, someone get in that mode was, who was the movie voice guy?
Michael Winslow?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Pablo Francisco.
Pablo
Yeah,
Francisco. I mean, sadly, he had. If you can watch a clip of that, you don't have to show the clip. I don't want to show
Right.
it, but if anybody wants to look it up, they can. But he like he has major drug problems and had just lost it on stage. And so his thing, right, was always like, "Hello, I am Movie Phone." And I mean, this dude made a career. I mean, he's very talented, obviously, and can do a bunch of stuff, but would just tour around, sell out these places for a long time, made tons of money, but had major drug problems. And he was at Punchline Sacramento. I was there the week after him,
Oh, really?
and he was on stage in this video of it, and he's just so whacked out on just so much stuff. I mean, the opener has to go back up there, and he keeps going, "Hello, I am." No, they want to hear it. No, and everybody, he's like, "You got to go, man. You know, you don't know what's good." He's like, "Hello." He just keeps doing the
Yeah.
same movie phone joke over and over. That was the sad one,
Mm.
but it's like crazy to be like, you're just in this routine. That's what I'm always scared of being. I'm gonna just be up there in Starbucks, and I want the iced coffee with milk, and I'm just like in a corner, just going, "Iced coffee, whipped cream, whipped cream, whipped cream, whipped cream." I'm just keep saying it over and over in some corner.
Brian comes out. He's like, "Hey, Nick, you should probably leave the stage."
Yeah,
Right?
he
You're
goes,
like, "No, no,
he
no."
weaves me in. No, they want to hear
I
it.
think he
They
kept
wanna
saying,
hear
"I'm
it."
gonna get myself out of
I
this."
get
No,
myself-
Pablo phrases. I'm gonna get myself
I'll
out of
get-
this. Here we go.
That's what we like.
Like he still knew that he was kind of bombing.
Yeah.
While he was still trapped
Yeah.
in that loop. It's kind of fascinating to watch.
There's not a
Little
comic on earth that
tortilla
doesn't
boy.
think the crowd's bad. I'll get them.
Yeah.
I'll get them. I mean, that's every comic. You go, "Hey, this crowd's like terrible, man," and you go, I mean, I'm sure they're terrible for y'all, like, but I'll get them. And then you go, "Oh no, they're terrible," and then you go off and go, "I know what you're thinking, but I promise they're terrible." And then you go, "I got them."
Yeah.
And then usually one person gets them
Yeah.
and is like, "I thought they were great."